Now, we already know about the updates coming out this week for Need for Speed, but what I wanted to do is make a video specific to the Snapshot Pro or photo mode that is being added to the game, because it's quite a hefty tool in itself. It kind of needed its own separate video, so I did kind of breeze over what it does. As obviously, you already know it's a photo mode, and you basically pause the game, and you go to the setting, and it's on there. You know how to get to it. But do you know all the tools that are available at your disposal? No, you probably don't. So I'm going to tell you all of them, and there are actually a few tips as well, which I'll give you a little bit later. Again, before we get into it, just a massive thanks to Ghost again, because you've got to think like how many people asked for a photo mode, and it's finally here, and they went full out with this photo mode as well. It has got a lot of features, as I'm about to read, starting with color filters. Now, this is going to be an awesome little thing, because there's two different color areas from what I've seen and played with, because I do a lot of thumbnails for the game. There's actually like a bluish effect on some of like the mountains area, in tunnels, that sort of thing. But then elsewhere, there's actually like an orangey effect on the cars. So you might be able to change this a little bit with those color filters, so it's an awesome option to have. There's also a lot of lens effect options, including exposure, chromatic aberration, focal distance, depth of field, and lens distortion. So there's a lot of options to go with. So as I said, exposure, which is changing the like how much is exposed. So when it comes to like the game being quite dark, that's going to help a lot, because you can brighten it up, and then you can maybe like darken it down in post-production, which will make you end up with a better image. There's a lot of stuff you can do to take a really cool image on this game and then take it to something else and edit the poop out of it and make it look absolutely incredible, much more incredible than it does already, because let's be clear, it's going to look absolutely beautiful with or without using Photoshop and such afterwards. It's cool that they've actually got lens distortion as well, because obviously you can distort the image in the actual game rather than doing it post-production. It's a good balance. It's a good balance. Like we saw this in the cruise photo mode, where it had a lot of options, but they're very simplistic options. Whereas the Need for Speed's gone a bit more in-depth, leaning more on that in-depth side. Again, you don't have to use those options, but these in-depth options will allow you to make something that looks really, really, really awesome, instead of really, really awesome, and without, going into another thing afterwards and changing it after that. There's also miscellaneous effects such as a vignette, film grain, rain effect, bodywork damage, lens flares, and wheel position. So a lot of these options, again, wheel position. You can change the position of the wheels while in the photo mode. So it's just little details like that are really, really awesome. You can disable lens flare. You can turn off the bodywork damage. You can turn on or off the rain effect. You can turn on or off the film grain. These are a lot of options that people really wanted to see, obviously. And if you're working with like a photo mode Snapshot Pro, you're going to want to turn these options off. It just makes it a million times easier when, no matter what you're doing, say you're taking this and just sharing it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or you're putting it on the Need for Speed network, or you're using it for a thumbnail, or you're using it for Instagram and you want like the best looking image. It doesn't matter what you're going to use this image for. There's a lot of options there to make you basically be able to make it perfect for you. So if you go over to the Need for Speed blog link down below, you'll actually be able to see some tips from the concept artist. I'll put a couple of them here, but you may know him from his Instagram work. All those absolutely ridiculous modding out exhausts everywhere, crazy looking cars on Instagram and Facebook. You see, Facebook ones are usually stolen. You see them on Instagram. That's they're crazy. And he also did the bodywork designs for a lot of the Need for Speed kits that you see in the game. But anyway, tips such as moving further away from the car, then zooming in for a flatter image. There's a lot of stuff you pick up when you work with images a lot, but for someone that's kind of not, new to the area, they gave a lot of awesome, helpful tips to get you started with the actual photo mode and how to use it at its best. Obviously, if you got any tips yourself on the photo mode, or you got any comments on what you think about the photo mode, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Are you happy about the photo mode? Would you like to see more? What would you like to see different? I think they've done a really damn good job, just as they did with the crew, and let's be honest, just as they do with Forza. All the photo modes I've been using recently, I can't really think of any issues. For me, as long as you have the ability to move the camera around freely and you have an exposure option, that's all I really need. But if you had more, all the power to you. That's just a million times easier for me, because I like to do a lot of post-production stuff myself. But and again, if you want to let me know, do you do post-production stuff on yours, or do you just use the games? Will this make this easier for you because you just use the game? Let me know, and be sure to leave a like if you did find this helpful or useful anyway. Remember, check the link in the description for the article, which will tell you more details and like extra little tips. Subscribe if you are new, and I'm probably going to do a video on the photo mode when it releases myself, so look out for that this week. So as I said, I'll see you soon. Peace.